Daddy.
Hey Alexa, lights on.
Okay.
Hey YouTube, what the fudge is up? It's your boy Alex, aka OVO Alex, and today I'm bringing you a brand new YouTube video. In today's video, I'm just going to talk a little bit about myself. I know you see a couple packages here, so we're going to do some unboxings and talk a little bit about that, what's in these boxes. You know, I know I've shared about myself a couple times in this channel. Not too many times, but you know, I only have like 80 subscribers, but I got a new puppy, by the way. Look, she's 7 months. Her name is Ava, and she's a couple handfuls. She's very needy,
But she's cute. She's the cutest puppy ever. Right? So yes, Daddy.
So Ava's a new addition to the fam. My girlfriend Vanessa and I live together now. As you can tell, it's a different environment. And yeah, we got Ava, and she's the best thing that happened to both of us. She's a blessing. She's takes a lot to take care of, but she's lovely. You can tell she's very attached to my girlfriend and I, Vanessa. But yeah, like I mentioned before, I know I've talked a little bit about myself in this channel in the past, but not really in depth. I know I've made quite a few videos, and I only have like 80 subscribers, but for you, the ones that watch, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. And yeah, just a little bit about myself. You know, I'm originally born in Houston, Texas, where I lived for the first few years of my life. I lived there for a couple of years, and then I moved to Louisiana with my dad's family, where I lived for about a year. Shortly after that, my mom moved back to Honduras to finish college, and I moved to Honduras with my mom, where I learned how to speak, read, and write Spanish, proper Spanish. After that, when I turned 15, I moved to Florida with my dad, where I attended high school and college. I got a job at Apple shortly after high school, right before graduating high school actually. A job that turned into a career and made me pursue a career in tech. I spent 4.5 years in Apple in Orlando, Florida. Apple retail. I was a specialist. I then became a technical specialist, and then a technical expert, and finally a genius. So I got promoted like 2 or 3, 4 different times. I was also a mentor at Apple, where I perform all technical training and new employee training. Shortly after that, I got a promotion to come here to New York to the global flagship, the Cube, the Apple Fifth Avenue Genius team. Opened their hands and welcomed me to their team. I spent there for about 3 years. I was a genius at Apple Fifth Avenue for about 3 years, where I made some of my best friends, where I met my partner, my girlfriend Vanessa. Shout out to you, Bazzi. Love you. But yeah, shortly after almost 7 years at Apple Retail, I decided, I kind of grew out of retail. I kind of wanted a different environment. I left in good standings. I'm eligible for rehire, so why not take a leap of faith? And I took on some consulting work. I spent doing some consulting work over at Lyft, where I was part of Lyft's first IPO, initial public offer. For those of you who do not know what IPO is, it's when a company goes from being private into being public. So I was part of Lyft's first IPO and took Lyft from being a private company into a public company. I was also part of a team who acquired Motivate, City Bike. Lyft acquired the City Bike company, which is the company that rents bikes all around New York City. And shortly after that, I took another leap of faith. I took on a contracting role, temporary role covering somebody's medical leave over at Paul Weiss, a very prestigious law firm. I wanted to change of environment again, just to see and not be crippled with the what if I didn't try something else. Being at Paul Weiss exposed me to a bunch of new technologies that law firms use. Being at Lyft exposed me to tons of new technologies as well that the tech corporate world uses. Technology I would have never learned at Apple, right? So with that knowledge, I took another leap of faith. Working at Paul Weiss, I worked with the previous Attorney General Loretta Lynch. It's a blessing for me, and it's a very it's a proud thing that I am, that I work for Apple, I work for Lyft, and I work for Paul Weiss. Currently, I'm in the middle of transitioning jobs, but in the meantime, I wanted to touch back my skills with opening phones and working on computers. So I decided to join an Apple authorized service provider program with SquareTrade. SquareTrade is a company who sells insurance for phones, right? So if you buy a phone, you can insure it, or if you buy a computer, you can insure it. And you know, they provide on-site repair with technicians, and you know, that's what's in this box. I just received my first inventory for SquareTrade, so you'll see a lot of that in this channel too. In the meantime, I find a full-time permanent role. You know, I would like to. What? Why are you stretching?
Let me kissy, kissy, daddy kissy, daddy kissy.
So yeah, I started at SquareTrade as a on-site repair technician for Apple. Again, so I'm working with Apple products, working not directly for Apple, but I'm getting through my certification all again, my 2019 certification with Apple. So with that being said, you know, I am working with Apple products again, computers and phones. Here's the inventory of what I've just received. I received a bunch of displays, batteries, and so on. Leave it alone. So I don't know if you can tell, but it's a bunch of screens replacements for iPhones, you know, that I will be performing. But with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. I do plan on give this channel an update on what is it that I'm doing. You know, I've known in the past I've mentioned music creation and coding. Those are the things that I'm still working on. You know, I don't like to talk just to talk. I like to, you know, talk and walk the walk. And I like to be proficient and know, hey Alexa, read me my notifications.
One new notification from Amazon Shopping. A shipment has arrived, including nitrile gloves.
Thank you. With that being said, you know, thank you so much for tuning in. It's been real. It's been nice. It's your boy Obi Alex. Peace.